Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is episode 2 of Bohemian News on the 27th of February 2021. Once again, we will be discussing the Czech government's COVID lockdown rules and their new rules starting on Monday, March 1st. It's pretty much fascist. Like, I would expect these kinds of things from an actual fascist, hardcore socialist government, National Socialist German Workers' Party. Something like that is the kind of government I would expect these kinds of regulations to be implemented by. So sit back, get something stiff to drink, because this is all just bad news, and I hope you don't have to live under this kind of stuff later on and wherever you're living right now. It sucks. All right, we're going to start off with this article from Prague Morning News titled "The Czech Government Tightens Lockdown Measures." Yep. Last week I was discussing how the government had decided to continue the state of emergency until the end of February. Well, we're pretty much at the end of February, right? Yeah, woo, it's going to be March. Everything will be better on March 1st. Yeah. No. Nope. You got fooled. Psych. No, that's not what happened. So apparently due to the fact that somehow the British COVID variant and I guess I believe also the South African COVID variant have now been found here in the Czech Republic. The government's going full on hardcore iron-fisted lockdown rules. I don't know how these variants got here because we've been under lockdown and travel bans for a couple months now. So I don't know how it got here. It ain't the working class that's going on vacation to England or Africa or anything. I can tell you that much. So let's go over this real quick. It's a fairly short article. By the way, this right here is Charles Bridge in the photo. It's very famous. It's one of the most famous places in the entire country. It's lined with old sculptures of religious iconography and saints, things like that. And in any normal year, this bridge would be packed. Even in the wintertime, it would be filled with people. And as you can see, it's empty. Just one lady walking around. At least she's wearing her mask like a good citizen, I suppose. It's kind of sad. Anyways, let's go over this article. So, with new infections soaring due to a highly contagious coronavirus variant and hospitals filling up, the Czech Republic announced a new series of measures to protect the lives of our citizens. Well, there's one problem with that statement. If you've studied anything about virology, the basics of it, which I did during the lockdown because I really didn't have much else better to do, you'll discover that the vast majority of viruses, when they mutate to something that is less deadly, more highly infectious, more highly contagious, but less deadly. It's just the simple fact that viruses are a form of parasite. If you kill off all of your hosts, you also die. You, the parasite. If you have no way of spreading because you've killed all your hosts, you die. Your, I guess, species, your variety of virus goes extinct. Or at least in that particular region. The Prime Minister, Andrej Babiš, says we have to do it to prevent a total collapse of our hospitals. Well, if you didn't have a socialist medical system, you wouldn't have to worry about this, would you? Just saying. The measures coming into effect on Monday, meaning Monday, March 1st, include limiting people's movement to only their residential districts, except for essential trips, meaning work, hospitals, things like that. Preschools will close and first and second graders will shift to online classes like other students. That was the one thing we had going on over here, was that small children at basically elementary school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they were allowed to go to school because little kids kind of go crazy if they're stuck inside a house all day or inside of a small apartment. They're going to go crazy, and so will their parents. Well, that's gone bye-bye. So now, mommy and daddy get to lose their frickin' minds because little Jimmy and little Johnny are going to be running around the house screaming. Wonderful. I'm sure this won't have any negative side effects and consequences in the future to the development of children. Nah, nah, nah. Oh, and by the way, this right here, residential districts. In case you don't know, the city of Prague, and I believe also other cities here in the Czech Republic, it's broken down into several districts, over 20. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. So, for example, the city center, the oldest area of the city basically, where all the tourists go, that is called Prague 1. So, under the new rules starting on Monday, what this means is if you live in Prague 1, you live downtown, you will not be able to go basically a mile, 2 miles down the street to Prague 2 to go shopping, visit friends, pick up lunch at some takeaway, McDonald's or something. No. If it's possible, stay at home, Interior Minister Jan Hamáček said. Hamáček said the measure will be enforced by police and military forces. I wasn't joking in the intro. I was not exaggerating when I said, this is fascist. This is what I expect from, like, the NSDAP. Health Minister Blatný said people will have to wear face coverings outdoor in towns and cities all the time and also at work. You go outside to walk your dog, put on your mask. You take your garbage out, put on your mask. You got to do some repair work on your car, put on your mask. Yeah. Where is your paperwork? I do not see your star or your pink triangle. Where do you think you are going? Oh. To help the struggling health system and prevent a collapse, the government has been discussing with Germany and Poland an option to send Czech COVID-19 patients to their hospitals for treatment as the local clinics are reaching their limits. Okay, fine, go ahead, sounds good. Even if we impose these measures according to our most optimistic models, we still assume an increase to around 20,000 new confirmed cases a day, followed by a decrease. If the measures are not implemented, the increase will be even higher. From this, it is logical to expect an even greater burden on hospitals, added Blatný. In an attempt to boost the vaccination program, the Czech Republic has approached EU nations and others asking them for vaccines for which they don't have immediate use. Babiš, the Prime Minister, said France has agreed to send 100,000 doses by the middle of March. So in 2 more weeks, we'll get another 100,000 doses. Wonderful. Some 5,000 Moderna doses have been donated by Israel, a close ally. Great, thank you. I appreciate it. The government will also start to require masks of employees in companies and extend the required quarantine from 10 to 14 days to address the specifics of the new variants that are more infectious. As of Friday morning, 19,999 people have died from coronavirus in the Czech Republic, and 1,531 are currently in intensive care in hospitals, compared with around 1,200 in November at the peak of the second wave. Now, if you watched my video last week in Bohemian News, you'll remember that I showed an article in which a Czech doctor, one of the top members of the Ministry of Health, stated unequivocally, in his opinion and the opinion of other professionals, 60% of all, quote, COVID deaths were not related to COVID. They were people with other serious chronic health issues that ended up being exacerbated by COVID, and those people died. 60%. So let's take that number. We've got basically 20,000 COVID deaths in the Czech Republic over the past year. 60% of that is 12,000. So only 8,000 people have actually died from COVID. And the number of infections at this point is 1.21 million people. So we're still looking at less than 1% of the population has died directly due to COVID. According to the official numbers. Those are the official numbers. And I believe it's even lower than that, personally. I don't think that we have an idea of the exact number. We don't. It's impossible to know the exact number because there are so many people not going to the hospitals, numbers of people not getting tested. They choose to stay at home instead of being locked in a fascist-style quarantine. That's just a fact. A lot of people are doing it. But let's go to another article. I'll show you what's going on because this article tells you some of the basics, but they don't go into some of the details that I think people really need to know about. So here, government closes schools and other shops, restricts movement between districts, deploys troops. All that we just talked about. The one thing I want to talk about, though, from this article is right here. We will ban people from leaving the territory of the district's Interior Minister Jan Hamáček said after the cabinet meeting. 5,000 soldiers will keep an eye on it. Respirators will be mandatory at work. So even if you're at work, in your own little cubicle, you still got to wear a respirator. 5,000 soldiers are going to be used to make sure you, the citizens, are correctly following the new mandate. Here we have it. The government will deploy 5,000 troops for inspections. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to say. I can't imagine. I never imagined, okay, when I moved here to the Czech Republic numerous years ago, I never imagined a country as open and mostly tolerant and peaceful. Czechs are very laid back, relaxed people. They don't give a shit about a lot of things. You live your life, they'll live their life, they don't care. And it's like, I get that. Cool. That's exactly how I kind of live. Great. Sounds good. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine the Czech government would start using soldiers to enforce laws. I hate to use, this expression of Kafka-esque, but it is a little bit Kafka-esque, famous Czech. So it's really unnerving, to be honest. I won't go so far as to say it's completely depressing. It's not depressing. I mean, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen. I doubt the soldiers are going to open fire on anybody or anything like that. But it is just kind of really, really weird. If you've got some business to take care of, you could be stopped by soldiers to make sure you're going to the right place and you're not just out for a little walk or something like that. It's nuts. Oh, I forgot about this one right here. Oh, man. This one really blew my mind. Totally forgot about this. Take a look at this paragraph. Due to possible police checks, people will now write a written affidavit. Here we have a quote from Mr. Hamáček. Before leaving his residence, the citizen writes on a piece of paper a simplified form of affidavit when he leaves the apartment and where he goes, or which exception he uses, and in case of inspection, he submits it to the police. Hamáček said, noting that the government has decided to move towards a model that works in France. Yeah, and I'm sure it worked in Nazi Germany too. Where are your papers? Worked in the Soviet Union too. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. Hey, whatevs. Whatevs, bro. I'm not a citizen of this country. If I need to leave, if it gets worse, I can leave. I can go back to the U.S. It's not a big deal. But there is a lot of people here, or there are a lot of people here that can't. They might not have this option. You know, if they don't have this option, they're just stuck here, living under this iron fist of soldiers patrolling the streets, making sure you've got the right papers so that you can go grocery shopping. It's unbelievable. Well, that pretty much covers everything important going on here in Bohemia over the past week. As I said before, it's nothing but bad news over here. It's pretty demoralizing, to be honest. But, hey, people have been through worse. You gotta keep your chin up, stay strong. Keep working for a better tomorrow. That's all you can do. Don't let it get you down. Stay strong, keep fighting the good fight, because we know it could always be worse. Never forget that. Alright? So, thank you for watching. Until next time, I remain the Neo-Bohemian.